Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, November 9th, 2020. Today I'm going to talk about the results from the NFL and college football games from yesterday and the weekend, respectively. NASCAR, the championship, is done, so we'll go over that. KBO playoffs, and my best bet. But first, I want to discuss the presidential election. Joe Biden projected the winner of the election. This comes to no surprise as he clinched Pennsylvania and he clinched the White House pretty much. And like I said, it should come to no surprise. This is where it was headed with Pennsylvania and Georgia, and both of those states, the lead for Trump was dwindling, and then Joe Biden took over the lead in those states, and he took Pennsylvania. Looks like he took Georgia, but not officially, and Trump took North Carolina, and Biden won both Arizona and Nevada too. But that didn't matter. He was Pennsylvania away when we last recorded on Friday from the White House. He had his speech on Saturday night in the middle of the Notre Dame-Clemson game, as well as Kamala Harris. She spoke first, and then Joe Biden. And now Trump's filing a lawsuit. We'll see how that goes with voter fraud in a couple states, including Pennsylvania and Michigan and Georgia, maybe even Arizona as well. And those are obviously 4 states that Joe Biden had won on his path to 270. So we'll see how that lawsuit turns out and whether the election numbers will be indeed recounted or not. And apparently they are recounting in Fulton County in Georgia, and that's one of the counties that went from red to blue, but they were mostly blue, and there's a big reason why Biden took the lead out in Georgia. And meanwhile, the Senate, it's pretty much even in the Senate. Mitch McConnell took Kentucky after there's some thought and speculation that Amy McGrath would win the Senate in Kentucky. In Michigan, Democrat Peters wound up winning a close race in the Senate. Gary Peters. So he's back in the Senate. Cory Booker won the Senate in New Jersey, or was reelected in New Jersey. In South Carolina, their Senate winner wound up being Lindsey Graham, who is the incumbent. Texas Senate, your winner there was John Cronin. So there's an even mix right now between the Democrats and the Republicans in the Senate, with North Carolina, Georgia, 2 seats in Georgia, and Alaska pending. So we could end up having 50-50 for the Senate. So let's say Joe Biden is officially the winner, and then you have the mixture of Democrats and Republicans. The Republicans and the Democrats got to work together like they have been over the past years, and so it's going to be interesting to see Biden in the White House and then a split in the Senate. And obviously in 2016 it was majority Democrat for the Senate. But now it looks like it's going to be even. Now we'll do NFL results. we'll go over every result from Sunday and look ahead and pick the game on Monday Night Football for tonight as well. The Falcons defeat the Broncos 34-27. Falcons 3-6, Denver 3-5. Matt Ryan 25 of 35, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Drew Lock 25 of 48, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Giants over to Washington Professional Football Team 23-20. The Giants are 2-7, Washington's 2-6, and the Giants, by the way, 2-0 against Washington, 0-7 against everybody else, and Washington 2-4 against everyone else, and 0-2 against the Giants. Daniel Jones had a turnover-free day, 23 of 34, 212 yards and a touchdown. Alex Smith came in for the injured Kyle Allen, who looked like he fractured his ankle. 24 of 32, 325 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. It's good to see Alex Smith playing. And obviously, he outplayed Kyle Allen even before Kyle Allen hurt his ankle. And hopefully Kyle Allen gets well soon, because that was a not a pretty scene there in D.C. Bills over the Seahawks 44-34. The Bills are 7-2, Seahawks 6-2. Josh Allen 31 of 38, 413 yards, 3 touchdowns. Russell Wilson 28 of 41, 390 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Titans over the Bears 24-17. The Titans are 6-2. The Bears are 5-4. Ryan Tannehill 10 of 21, 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nick Foles 36 of 52, 335 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ravens over Colts 24-10. A bounce back win for the Ravens. They're 6-2. The Colts are 5-3. Lamar Jackson 19 of 23, 170 yards. Phil Rivers 25 of 43, 227 yards and the pick. Chiefs over the Panthers 33-31. The Chiefs 8-1. The Panthers 3-6. Patrick Mahomes 30 of 45, 342 yards and 4 touchdowns. Teddy Bridgewater 36 of 49, 310 yards and 2 touchdowns. Vikings over the Lions 34-20. Vikings 3-5, Lions 3-5. Kirk Cousins 13 of 20, 220 yards and 3 touchdowns. Matt Stafford 23 of 32, 211 yards, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Texans over the Jaguars 27-25. Houston 2-6, Jacksonville 1-7. Deshaun Watson 19 of 32, 281 yards and 2 touchdowns. And filling in for the injured Gardner Minshew, Jake Luton 26 of 38, 304 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Raiders over the Chargers 31-26. Raiders 5-3, Chargers 2-6. Derek Carr 13 of 23, 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. Justin Herbert 28 of 42, 326 yards and 2 touchdowns. Steelers over the Cowboys 24-19. Steelers 8-0, Dallas 2-7. Ben Roethlisberger 29 of 42, 306 yards and 3 touchdowns. Garrett Gilbert getting the start for Dallas. 21 of 38, 243 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Dolphins over the Cardinals 34-31. The Dolphins are 5-3. Arizona is 5-3. Kyler Murray 21 of 26, 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tua Tagovailoa 20 of 28, 248 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he performed better yesterday than he did against the Rams. Well, it would make sense because Aaron Donald's on the Rams and not on the Cardinals. Saints over the Buccaneers 38-3. What an impressive win for Drew Brees and the Saints, who go to 6-2. Tampa falls to 6-3. Drew Brees 26 of 32, 222 yards and 4 touchdowns. Tom Brady with his worst game of the season, 22 of 38, 209 yards and 3 interceptions. Tonight is an awful, awful game between the Patriots and the Jets. Joe Flacco is starting instead of Sam Darnold, who's injured again. I project New England by 7.5, total 42.5. And we sit here at 9.5, total 41.5. I hate to do this. I hate it. But I have no choice. I'm taking the Jets plus the 9.5. Cam Newton, I think, could have a good game. But they have some injuries on defense where I can see actually the Jets getting some life. Denzel Mims is back for the team. And he made his debut last week and showed some promise. I think the Jets may hang around here. I'm going to say that New England wins the game something similar to like the Cowboy game from yesterday, like 24-19, 24-18, 25-19. It's going to be something similar to that Cowboys score from yesterday. So that's my call. And I'm going to say the Jets backdoor New England late to make that game look closer than it really is going to be. So give me the Patriots to win tonight. But my pick for the show is Jets plus 9.5. Now, college football. We're going to go over the results from the weekend, starting with Friday night. You got Miami over NC State, 44-41. The number 11 team in the country goes to 6-1. NC State goes to 4-3. NC State really hung around in this game. Probably should have won the game outright. San Jose State over San Diego State, 28-17. San Jose State's 3-0. San Diego State 2-1. An impressive win for San Jose State. And they really should be taken seriously now in the Mountain West. BYU, number 9 BYU over number 21 Boise State, 51-17. BYU, a dominant win. They're 8-0. Boise is 2-1. Saturday, number 13 Indiana over number 23 Michigan, 38-21. Indiana 3-0. Michigan 1-2. So Indiana being 3-0 is wonderful for them. And, of course, all the talk's going to be about Jim Harbaugh and Michigan and how terrible they are. Number 18, SMU over Temple, 47-23. SMU 7-1, Temple 1-4. Number 20, USC over Arizona State, 28-27. USC 1-0, Arizona State 0-1. USC came back from 13 down to win this game. Number 22, Texas over West Virginia, 17-13. Texas 5-2, West Virginia 4-3. Number 25, Liberty upsets Virginia Tech 38-35, and it's an upset because Liberty was getting like a whopping 16.5. They're 7-0. Virginia Tech is 4-3. Memphis over USF 34-33. Memphis 4-2. USF 1-6. Tulane over East Carolina 38-21. Tulane 4-4. ECU 1-5. North Carolina over Duke 56-24. UNC 5-2. Duke 2-6. Georgia State over UL Monroe 52-34. Georgia State 3-3. UL Monroe 0-8. Northwestern over Nebraska, 21-13. Northwestern 3-0. Nebraska 0-2. Iowa over Michigan State, 49-7. Iowa with a dominant win. They're 1-2. And Sparty's 1-2. Let down after the Michigan win, of course. Louisiana over Arkansas State, 27-20. Lafayette 6-1. Arkansas State 3-5. Georgia Southern over Troy, 20-13. Georgia Southern 5-2. Troy 4-3. Boston College over Syracuse, 16-13. BC 5-3. Syracuse 1-7. Number 16, Marshall over UMass, 51-10. Marshall 6-0. UMass 0-2. Southern Miss over North Alabama, 24-13. Southern Miss 2-5. North Alabama 0-3. Appalachian State over Texas State, 38-17. App State 5-1. Texas State 1-8. Number 8, Florida over number 5, Georgia, 44-21. An impressive win for Florida. They are 4-1. Georgia is 4-2. Number 6, Cincinnati over Houston, 38-10. Cincinnati 6-0. Houston 2-3. Number 19, Oklahoma over Kansas, 62-9. Oklahoma 5-2. Kansas 0-7. Maryland upsets Penn State, 35-19. Maryland has to be taken seriously. They're 2-1. Penn State is 0-3. Minnesota over Illinois, 41-14. Minnesota 1-2. Illinois 0-3. Mississippi State over Vanderbilt, 24-17. Mississippi State 2-4. Vandy 0-5. TCU over Texas Tech, 32-18. TCU 3-3. Texas Tech 2-5. Fresno State over UNLV, 40-27. Fresno 2-1. UNLV 0-3. Number 14, Oklahoma State over Kansas State, 20-18. Oklahoma State 5-1. Kansas State 4-3. Pitt over Florida State, 41-17. Pitt 4-4. FSU 2-5. FAU over Western Kentucky, 10-6. FAU 3-1. Western Kentucky 2-6. Number 7, A&M over South Carolina, 48-3. A&M 5-1. South Carolina 2-4. Number 17, Iowa State over Baylor, 38-31. Iowa State's 5-2, Baylor 1-4. Colorado over UCLA, 48-42. Colorado 1-0, UCLA 0-1. Number 4, Notre Dame over number 1, Clemson, 47-40 in double overtime. This was the game of the night, probably the game of the season. Sans no Trevor Lawrence for Clemson. Notre Dame 7-0, Clemson 7-1. Ian Book 22-39, 310 yards and a touchdown. DJ Uiagalelei 29-44, 439 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he did a very nice job filling in for Trevor Lawrence, but their defense couldn't stop Notre Dame. So, yes, the what-ifs are there about what if Trevor Lawrence was there and yada yada. But the reality is that Clemson's defense might not be that good. So, not saying that they still lose the game with Trevor or they win the game with Trevor. But that defensive performance from Clemson I thought was a little bit alarming. I know this was like the game of the season for Notre Dame and everything, but yeah, I saw some bad signs with Clemson's defense in that game. Number 3, Ohio State over Rutgers, 49-27. My bad. Ohio State 3-0, Rutgers 1-2. Number 12, Oregon over Stanford, 35-14. Oregon 1-0, Stanford 0-1. Arkansas over Tennessee, 24-13. Arkansas 3-3, Tennessee 2-4. Number 15, Coastal Carolina over South Alabama, 23-6. Coastal 7-0, South Alabama 3-4. Washington State over Oregon State, 38-28. Washington State 1-0, Oregon State 0-1. Hawaii over New Mexico, 39-33. Hawaii 2-1, New Mexico 0-2. And by the way, 5-0 in the picks this week for the first time all year. And in NFL, I went 2-3 with the bad beat being the Steelers missing the 2-point conversion, or also would have went 3-2. A lot of games are postponed this weekend. Army Air Force, Tulsa Navy, Purdue, Wisconsin, UTSA Rice, Charlotte, Middle Tennessee, Arizona, Utah, Florida International, UTEP, Louisiana Tech, North Texas, Louisville, Virginia, and Washington, Cal, all due to COVID. So let's hope that there are less canceled games next week. Now we're going to go over the NASCAR results from the weekend. It was championship weekend in Phoenix. Normally championship weekend is in Miami, but not this year because of the schedule change due to COVID. We'll start with the Truck Series. We'll go over the race results and then the final standings. So Sheldon Creed wound up winning the race and the championship in overtime. And then second, Zane Smith. Third, Chandler Smith. Fourth, Christian X. Fifth, Raphael Lester. Sixth, Stuart Friesen. Seventh, Ben Rhodes. Eighth, Tyler Ankrum. Ninth, Todd Gilliland. 10th, Brett Moffitt. The rest of the results, Johnny Sauter, Austin Hill, Grant Effinger, Matt Crafton, Tanner Gray, Dylan Lupton, Sam Meyer, Trevor Bain, Tate Fogelman, Austin Wainsmouth, Ryan Truex, Jordan Anderson, Spencer Davis, Derek Kraus, Tyler Hill, Danny Bone, Spencer Boyd, Dawson Cram, Robbie Lyons, Akinori Ogata, Jennifer Joe Cobb, Carson Hosvar, and Josh Rumi. Those were the race results. And for the championship points for the truck race, the winner from a point standpoint was Sheldon Creed, who wound up winning the championship, which was awesome for him. So this was the championship results. Sheldon Creed, Zane Smith, Brett Moffitt, Grant Effinger, Matt Crafton, Austin Hill, Ben Rhodes, Christian X, Tyler Ankrum, Todd Gilliland, Derek Kraus, Raphael Lesser, Johnny Sauter, Tanner Gray, Stuart Friesen, Austin Wainsmell, Tate Fogelman, Jordan Anderson, Chandler Smith, Spencer Boyd, Ty Majeski, Clay Greenfield, Cody Rohrbach, Spencer Davis, Tyler Hill, Timmy Hill, Sam Mayer, Parker Kingelman, and now we're just getting into the nitty-gritty. So again, your top 10 for the Truck Series Championship: Sheldon Creed, Zane Smith, Brett Moffitt, Grant Effinger, Matt Crafton, Austin Hill, Ben Rose, Christian X, Tyler Ingram, Todd Gill, and there you go. And now to the Xfinity Series results from Phoenix. And I know that Austin Cindric won the championship, and the winner of the race wound up being Austin Cindric. Second, Noah Gragson. Third, Brandon Jones. Fourth, Michael Nett. Fifth, Justin Allgaier. Sixth, Harrison Burton. Seventh, Ross Chaston. Eighth, Justin Haley. Ninth, Chase Briscoe. 10th, Jeremy Clements. 11th, Riley Herbst. 12th, Brendan Brown. 13th, Josh Williams. 14th, BJ McLeod. 15th, Bailey Curry. 16th, David Starr. 17th, Kyle Weatherman. 8th, Matt Snyder. 9th, Brett Moffitt. 20th, Colby Howard. The rest of the results: Alex Lab, Cody Vanderwell, Timmy Hill, Mason Diaz, Daniel Hemrick, J.J. Yaley, Joe Graff Jr., Stan Mullis, Jesse Little, Jesse Awuji, Ryan C., Jeffrey Earnhardt, Ryan Vargas, Tommy Joe Martins, Matt Mills, Donald Thegby, and C.J. McLaughlin. And then the playoff points, your top 10. Austin Cindric wound up winning the title. Justin Allgaier, Justin Haley, Chase Briscoe, Noah Gragson, Brandon Jones, Ross Chaston, Harrison Burton, Michael Annett, Ryan Sieg were your top 10 in points for the playoff. And now, last but not least, the Cup Series results from Phoenix. Your championship winner was Chase Elliott, and the winner of the race was also Chase Elliott. Second, Brad Keselowski. Third, Joey Logano. Fourth, Denny Hamlin. Fifth, Jimmy Johnson. Sixth, Ryan Blaney. Seventh, Kevin Harvick. Eighth, Matt DiBenedetto. Ninth, William Byron. 10th, Martin Truex Jr. 11th, Kyle Busch. 12th, Kurt Busch. 13th, Eric Almirola. 14th, Clint Boyer. 15th, Bubba Wallace. 16th, Alec Bowman. 17th, Chris Bell. 18th, Austin Dillon. 19th, Tyler Reddick. 20th, Chris Buescher. The rest of the results: Ty Dillon, Eric Jones, Michael McDowell, Marion Newman, Matt Kenseth, John Hunter Nemechek, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Cole Custer, Brennan Poole, J.J. Yaley, Daniel Suarez, Joey Gase, James Davison, Ryan Preece, Josh Bilicki, Timmy Hill, Garrett Smithley, Corey LaJoie, and Quinn Houff. And then the driver points. Obviously, Chase Elliott, then Brad Keselowski, then Joey Logano. Now I'm just doing the top 10 here. Maybe top 15 will do because it's the Cup Series. So your top 3 are Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano. Then it was Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Alec Bowman, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch, Austin Dillon, Clint Boyer. Then Matt DiBenedetto, William Byron, and Eric Almirola round out your top 15 finishers for the NASCAR season. And obviously NASCAR will be back next year, and we'll be covering it a lot on the podcast. This is the most NASCAR I've ever covered in a year on the podcast because we were in the midst of a pandemic and still are. And there's a point where it was the peak of the pandemic. There were no other sports on, and I was covering this a lot. So good on them for getting through the season. There were some races that there was allowed to have fans in the stands. Hopefully next year there will be fans in the stands for a majority of the races. Now I want to talk about the KBO playoffs, which have been going on all week. We talked about it a little bit on, I believe it was Monday's show of last week. The LG Kylum game with LG winning 3-4. And in the semi-playoffs, LG and Doosan. Doosan won both games. 4-0 on Wednesday and then 9-7 on Thursday. And then the playoff round began today with Doosan defeating KT 3-2. And there are 5 games. It's a best of 5. Doosan with a 1-0 series lead. My pick for the series, I'm going to say KT in 5. I think Doosan is very good. I just think KT has more talented players. Mel Rojas Jr., William Cuevas, Hwang Jae-gyun, Saimu Jun. And then obviously Doosan has some talented players. Jose Miguel Fernandez, the first baseman. Raul Alcantara, the pitcher. Chris Flexen, the ex-Met. Park Kun-woo, Choi Won-jun. So I like KT in 5, and then obviously it'd be KT against the NC Dinos next week, which we'll talk about on the podcast for sure. Now I want to talk about the unfortunate passing of Jeopardy host Alex Trebek. News broke yesterday before football that Trebek had passed away at the age of 80, surrounded by his loved ones. He had pancreatic cancer, and he was one of the best hosts of all time. Obviously, everyone knew him from Jeopardy. And all the news outlets are going to be celebrating him today, and rightfully so. I heard a radio yesterday talk about the passing of Trebek, and they honored him by playing the Jeopardy music, which was very classy. And now I'm sure ABC is going to be airing a lot of Jeopardy in his honor. I'm going to check the guide right now. Well, right now it's Ryan live with Ryan and Kelly, or Kelly and Ryan. And Jeopardy will be on the night at 7, and Wheel of Fortune at 7:30, and then Dancing with the Stars for 2 hours. Obviously, we'll go over that show on tomorrow's podcast, as they'll be voting another pair off. But it's just a sad loss for ABC, a sad loss for our world. He was a great gentleman, and he'll be missed so dearly. He really was in a great class of guys in his era. Pat Sajak, Regis Philbin, who passed away this year as well, and Tom Bergeron. I always felt like those 4 will always have that ABC connection because of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, and America's Funniest Home Videos. Of those 4 would always have that connection. Trebek has a couple children, one he adopted with his first wife, and 2 with his now widow, Jean Curvin Trebek. Alex, before Jeopardy, and maybe even throughout his Jeopardy tenure, hosted The Wizard of Oz, Double Dare, High Rollers, Battlestars, Classic, Concentration, and To Tell the Truth. He was at CBC. And like I said, 1984 till now. And his final episode hosting Jeopardy was supposed to air on Christmas Day in 2020. And I'm sure they'll still air it. And then the irony of that is normally Christmas Day, ABC airs 3 NBA games. Normally maybe 2, 5, and 8. So they'll probably have Jeopardy on at 7:30 and not have Wheel of Fortune on. Well, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because the NBA schedule will probably be out in a couple weeks after free agency and everything. So I'm sure they'll still air it and find a way to do it. And I'm sure that in many other ways that they'll honor him, and I'm sure they're going to honor him on Dancing with the Stars tonight somehow. They'll probably do like a little thing or whatever. And then you'll be seeing a lot of it, like I said, on the news, especially on Channel 7. I'm sure Kelly and Ryan spoke about it. You'll be hearing the View ladies talk about it as well. I know the election is a big story, but they're going to be talking about Trebek as well. And now my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. It is really sad that it comes down to the Patriots-Jets for best bet. And then you have some soccer, if I'm not mistaken. You have some Swedish soccer. And you got no men's international, no UEFA, no Nations League. Oh my goodness. Because I don't want to pick the Jets for my best bet. So you know what? I'm going to go with soccer. And I'm going to take a slight road favorite in Sundsvall, minus 105 against Umeå FC. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because I refuse to take the New York Football Jets in best bet. So there you have it. Sundsvall in Swedish soccer on the road against Umeå FC. So that's it for the show today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping the Monday Night Football game, Dancing with the Stars. We'll do an NBA mock draft tomorrow as the draft's next week. Power rankings maybe too for the NFL. And the theme, I'm thinking about best win, worst loss for every team this year. And then there is going to be a team potentially that won't have a best win. So we'll find out after tonight. And I think it's more likely that team, a.k.a. the New York Football Jets, will remain winless or not. So I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.